Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly he's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly he's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.
Well, hello everybody. How is everybody doing this fine afternoon? Good theme tune. When paired with Aga, it will give you full mental illness. That's kind of assuming that we don't all have full mental illness already. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Coming back to these markets has been... it's not been a treat, I'll be honest. This range, yeah, we have mental illness. I think that's kind of fair. I think you have to have some form of psychotic disposition to be sat looking at charts in these conditions right now. But we'll jump into that a little bit more. How do you set up all the tickers like that? I've got a video on my YouTube, and you can just copy the link from the top of that trading view thing, because it's open. It's not like read-only or whatever. It's shared. So you will all have to bear with me a little bit. I'm still a little bit brain foggy. Thank you for those who have asked how I'm feeling. I was feeling okay yesterday, and then I decided that a glass of red wine would be really nice. And a glass of red wine turned into a bottle and a half, and I absolutely obliterated myself. So take that L on the head. It's that classic British thing of like, when you get a tiny bit of something, you just absolutely go too far. Like the first day of summer when all the Brits run out and go, "Hey, sun," and then they all end up bright red with sunburn. That was literally me, but with red wine yesterday. So I'm a little bit like brain foggy anyway, but I'm also mildly hungover. So yes, we'll jump into a bit of the $7 range, shall we? The man can drink. Not anymore, my friend, evidently. Is anyone else mildly hungover in the chat? Eliord sounds a bit gone. Lovely. But yeah, I'll just start off with thanking Delta Exchange for sponsoring this. There's a link down below in the bio if you fancy trading there. Drinking from the morning. Good God. I mean, there's not much to trade right at this moment. I'll go through some of my thoughts, some of the things I'm looking for, etc., in a bit. And from an options perspective, again, there's probably a few plays, but my second PC is just switching itself off. Very helpful. Good morning, say it back. Good morning. I mean, it's not morning for me. It's actually afternoon, but good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. All of you wonderful people spending your time tuning into this. So, shall we jump into it, shall we? Shall we start talking about this wonderful range on Ethereum? I mean, BTC. I mean, let's just start. I'm using black and white, by the way. I'm migrating over to it just because my eyes have got stronger. It would seem the superpower of COVID has made them stronger than they were, and I can now tolerate the blinding light that is white. But, I mean, for me, you know, the last week or two has just been a little bit written off, personally, obviously because of me being essentially sat in bed. But I did manage to catch a swing short from, I actually think that's the exact number, 21.77 something. So roundabout up here. And I got very lucky because my stop was here, above this high, and we never took it. So essentially, I got very lucky. The market gifted me with this, essentially a swing trade, and I have now hedged it up down here. What I'm actually looking for is just some form of, oh dear, apologies, close that crap down. What I'm looking for ideally is a sweep of this area down here. So we've had all of these lows that are just completely untested, right? Every time we come back down and we just leave it hanging. I want us to move down and do something there. Now, I'm not particularly fussed or biased as to what we do. So I don't have a preconceived notion that we're just going to smash through it, that we're going to bounce, that we're going to do whatever. What I'm trying to do is set up a thought process and potential triggers for either me closing my long, my hedge here, or just completely closing everything, or flipping to be net long. So in each of these scenarios, I suppose what I'll try and do is just talk you through how I'm thinking about it. Now, we might not get this at all. We might just do this, which I memed about on Twitter yesterday, and most people said they'd end up fucking killing themselves, which is a bit depressing. We might just, fly up. We might just do something completely fucking different and do that, right? But I'm not going to sit here and map out every single scenario. I personally think that a move down is the most likely, and how we react down here is just going to determine my bias probably for the next few weeks, assuming we get it all right. So if we do something like that and we sweep and then we come up, reclaim, that's where I'll just get along, right? I'll probably get shut out of my hedge if I'm live trading it. If we do dump down and we get down to here, obviously the ideal scenario for my short is that we just keep going, but that's probably quite unlikely, and let's just stick with this long scenario now. So when we come back up and when we start closing above, I will just flip, close this, close my short, and just open a completely fresh trade, fresh long, and just first target is mid-range up here somewhere, and then final would be up here, and then I would look to see whatever happens up here, break above, retest, or just die off. Now, usually I'm a momentum trader on the basis of I like to trade at extremes, but when there's no volatility, I can't trade at extremes because there aren't any. We are just ranging, we are consolidating, looking for some form of strength or weakness in the market, But at the moment, from basically every momentum oscillator, from RSI and AO, there's not much on any time frame. So I have to just treat it like a range, and I just have to be, put my range head on and treat it like a range, really. This is the least articulate I think I've ever been in my life. But I hope that makes sense, and this is the play I'm looking for. Now, it's kind of different for me because I'm obviously in a position, and now I've hedged it out. I'm just looking at protecting myself over essentially this little move here. That's it. God, what's wrong with me? I should play some aim map or something to warm up before these streams, shouldn't I? Treat it like a range. So that's my thought process on BTC. I'm not aggressively long biased. I'm not aggressively short biased. I honestly think that the scenario that I posted on Twitter is actually quite probable in terms of it just ranging. And if it does do that, that's kind of excellent for me because, I prefer trading alts anyway. But I have positioned in BTC. If we get something that is, it's not going to be that, is it? Let's be brutally honest. You're probably going to form a range around kind of these, I'll call them levels, but they're kind of a bit messy, around that, and just consolidate for a period. Now, I don't think that's likely, to be honest with you. I think tomorrow we'll see a return of some form of volatility, which will be nice, and I think we're just stalling for now. But we'll see. Has anyone got any strong opinions in the chat? Is anyone, wildly bearish, wildly bullish? Join for the alpha, stayed for the voice.
There is no second best. There is no second best crypto asset.
Ah, crap, audio's been dead for a while, hasn't it? Lovely. I just went on a rant. Hey, Boomer Charlie striked again. He just muted while he rips the bong. Oh, I wish, mate. I've literally got water, I've got a peppermint tea, and I've got some flavoured pea snacks, sweet chilli and lemon. Oh, El Blepe, yes. I need some sub emotes, don't I, or whatever they're called. So you can blepe el me. Christ, that is bad. Yeah, so I basically just told you the 100% win rate strategy. So apologies that was on mute. Because, yeah, I can't really repeat it again. Oh, in the chat. Oh, fucking hell. No, I was just saying that, I guess I said two things. So firstly, from a viewer perspective, it's interesting that a few of you have got sort of zeros and 21k sort of in your mind. Oddly, no one's got like new all-time highs, which, is semi-promising on the bounce of, or on the thought of people just thinking it's going to bounce. And I haven't got any BitBoys in the chat, which is nice. It's nice to think that we've got 99 sensible people. 24k is almost all-time high. Yeah, imagine. And then the second thing that I said about was in terms of news and narrative, and this is why we trade the chart, is that someone in the chat said about energy prices and businesses, Malk P 99, crippling energy prices, closing down businesses, mass unemployment, Goblin Town, etc. How much of that is priced in already? Is it priced in? Is it not? Don't know, don't care, personally. I like to theorize about macro stuff. Are you directionally trading a ranging asset anon? Yes, that's the exact message right now. That's probably the greatest meme, I think, of how I could describe trading this current environment. And that really applies to BTC, but as we'll see in a minute, like a lot of the altcoins are just doing the same thing, right? There's no clear direction. The ETH merge narrative, so whilst ETH is holding up a bit better than BTC, have we had that whole cycle in terms of speculation? But who knows? But it's certainly not looking good, brev, is it? So hopefully that's kind of my thought process on BTC, and hopefully that's relatively clear in terms of my personal plan. I'm only really planning for one scenario. If we get to the mid-range on this, I'll probably just close everything and just dump it all and then just start afresh, take my profit and just walk away. So I'm not overly interested in trading BTC in a range, especially at the mid-range. So that's it for me on BTC, I think. Any thoughts on the fan tokens? I'll come on to CHZ in a bit, but I haven't actually played any of the fan tokens myself. But I know a lot of people who have. And I think this is one of the things that when BTC and ETH and then other alts start losing their volatility, you really have to go into the sort of niche subsections of crypto to find volatility, to find potential returns. Doge Chain was a great example of, a little pocket that you could have put some money in, you could have got rugged about, 8 times out of 10, and then your other 2 would probably pull a 10x, right? So it's one of those things where if you want to play in those kind of new degenerate little arenas, you have to be very prepared to lose everything you're putting in there. And it's not, it's not the same proposition as trading BTC, obviously. But you kind of have to be a little bit more nuanced in finding your opportunities if you are choosing to spend your time doing that. Because walking away and setting some high level alerts, let's pretend I didn't want to trade this for however long. I'm going to put a little bit of piano music on because it makes it so that I hear less of my own voice, which is great for me. So if you start talking about where do I want to actually take some form of high time frame biases on this chart, if we're going to have another leg down, if we're going to break out of this range to the upside, what's the harm in missing out on this here? If you think that actually we can probably get up to 24s pretty easily, so something like that. So why wouldn't you just set an alert here, walk away, and miss what is probably going to be a boring couple of weeks? Oh yeah, maybe we push the range highs, maybe it comes back down, maybe it does whatever. Who knows? But you don't have to be in a position all the time. Like this is, and coming back to basically all of my watch list looking like utter garbage, and the fact that spaghetti is generally contracting. We'll talk about ETC in a minute. And by contracting, what I mean is when you've got these rotations here, so I've got the pivots on, right? Here, that's the high, that's the low, high, etc., etc. Like how far certain things are moving from top to bottom. I mean, TRB is probably a bit of an exception because that just went to shit. And if you watch the last stream with Jim, you'll know why. You know, the moves just aren't that impressive. Like 11%, lovely. But this is, you know what, 4 days? Like the lower time frame rotations, it's been quite hard to get more than 2 or 3% out of it, and it's only been the odd coin. You know, ETC going for it today. I think that's LDO, maybe. Oh, SHIB, wonderful. You know, and it's been 1 or 2 coins. It's not been the whole raft, typically. I was actually charting this just before the stream, for the stream, and I went and got my little bag of pea-snacked crisps, and I completely missed any pump. It's always the way, isn't it? I think Jim memed it earlier that the market's going to move when he goes and takes a shit, and that was kind of the exact scenario for me. Rolling in the mud with pigs like cold-blooded chiller. Think he's on holiday now. Oh yeah, Lun C. Yeah, that's one of the interesting little alts that's moving in terms of, yeah, who the fuck is buying it, but whatever. Is it me or Jim that said they'll be buying spot for a long play? Yeah, no, it'll be me, mate. Well, actually, it might be Jim as well, but to be honest, both of us would be buying spot for a long play. The massive upside to spot is obviously that you don't pay any form of funding fees. From a psychological perspective as well, like you don't see a P&L on it, and I know that sounds dumb, but if you open FTX and you see you're up X amount, you know, it can be difficult to just go, oh, I'll take that. Whereas your swing target might be much, much higher, and you might cut yourself out of some profits. Why are you hearing Sailor saying there is no second best asset? I think you've gone mad, Jackie. I think you've gone mad, mate. It's what happens whenever someone follows the stream. So you aren't going mad. I'm not long ETC. No, I wish I was long ETC. I'll just jump into that. I'll jump into that chart. What I was saying is that just before the stream, I was going through some scenarios, some things I'd like to see, and I literally had this chart up, and I was like, oh, this is looking like nice, clean and validation. It'd be nice if we actually got some form of relative strength, which is basically, you know, the core crux of how I trade. And here you go. Here's your relative strength compared to everything else, you know, bumping up, and yeah, you get the wonderful yeet. So would I have got in here? No, absolutely not. Would I have got in up here? Yes, potentially, if I was here, obviously. Actually, no, this is a 30-minute chart. I'm chatting shit, boys. Let's go timestamp it. 14:13. So maybe I'd have been part of this candle here. Because you've got, you know, a very nice high time frame level. We are basically just sat in this little consolidation with a it's a bit extended to call it a deviation, really, but we will. Bounce. Any form of consolidation at support, you know, it's support until it isn't, and then if you start seeing some form of relative strength, that can be the move, the kind of ignition move, if you like. So no, I did not take this trade. I'm just hindsight LARPing about it. So yeah, Sean, hindsight LARP. Jim hates spot. He likes 3-bet mid terraces that he's doing up in 10x leverage. Yeah. Who was the whale? Dunno. What do you think about the fact the Bitcoin CME chart has already broken the low, Bitcoin Charlie? I do not care. I I don't look at it, mate. Did you say you had a link to the spaghetti to TradingView? Yeah, I'll bump it on here. Are the Chinese done pumping Atom? I mean, are you asking me that because I am Chinese? Or because I have, you know, the hotline to the Chinese Atom pumping group? I don't know. I don't like trading Atom. I think I saw a really good take on it by Awawat, who is a very, very good altcoin trader, which is, you know, there seems to be a common knowledge now that when Atom pumps, that's kind of the end of the cycle. And it wasn't actually too bad of an indicator, but for me, it's always a bastard to trade because, well, I don't know why. I mean, it just doesn't seem to respect my system, I suppose. And I don't know if that's because of the market maker. I could make up some sort of bullshit and pretend that I, you know, watch the algo flows and all that kind of crap for Cosmos in particular, but I don't. I just look at lines on charts, and yeah, every time I've traded Atom, it's been one of my worst win rate assets ever. And I've got the stats to prove it, Your Honour. The link won't work? Oh, that's because I probably gave the wrong one. Rip. There you go. That's the right one. See, you're just going to have to put up with Boomer Charlie today. I mean, this is horrific. Yeah, that's the right one. So there you go, ladies and gents. And I mean, it is really, really simple. When you find an altcoin that you like, you just add, literally, click add, and then find it. Obviously, the downside for some people is I think you need TradingView Premium or something to have more than like 10 on there. I don't know how many you've actually got to have. But yeah, I mean, look at this, right? It's just chops, Phil, isn't it? It's just chop, 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 chop. Like, show me a level that's been respected on this chart. Like, I suppose there is one, probably about there. But it's not pretty. Yeah, maybe it's not as horrific as I give it its credence. Maybe I'm just a terrible trader. Where's the dank Renko? I could show you Renko. But at the moment, like, Renko's really just... Yeah, sorry, I'm flitting around a little bit, aren't I? So we went through this. I think we actually had it almost 220. I was looking at lower time frame stuff. So this is what we talked about previously. We just talked about this momentum div across the highs, and just a short theory. I mean, I did have a short open from there, but I ended up closing it, and now I'm short from 21.7 or whatever it is. So that trade is not done for me, but I'm no longer in it. So it's just for Twitter memes only. But yeah, there's just not much in terms of, yeah, what do you want to do with that? Momentum down, price down. There's not a lot. And it's the same from a momentum perspective with BTC on most time frames. You know, maybe we get something from a 4-hour AO, but it's just a crossover. It's not a divergence. It's nothing playable. Your RSI is just sat between 40 and 56. You know, it's weak as shit from a 4-hour perspective. Yeah, nothing actionable. Not for me, anyway. Now, there might be for you, for your systems, etc. But yeah, there's just nothing. Oh yeah, the special people's chart. Holy crap. I love it. I love that people call Renko special. I mean, it does simplify things, right? And it does do that. But I'm not sure simplifying it for simple people is the branding it deserves. What leverage have I got? 100x because I always buy the exact top. And then I get liquidated. Because I buy tops. No, it's not about leverage, my man. It's about position sizing. But I do use leverage, and I use leverage to reduce my exchange risk. And by that, I mean exchanges, not like foreign exchange. So let's say I've got $1 million and I want to trade $1 million positions. Why would I put $1 million on an exchange when I could put $100,000 on an exchange and use 10x leverage? Yeah, top trader. yeah, I'm a top trader. I only buy tops. Imagine. It's alright. Always right, so I can use 100x. Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you are always right, then that is the plan. Why wouldn't you? You know, never miss. But anyway, let's jump on a bit to Ethereum. Now, ETH's obviously actually moving, which is a reasonable, or has been, which is a reasonable are we going to get our next move up? Which is much more reasonable to look at than BTC, is what I was trying to say. But let's jump up to daily, just to kind of talk through some of the levels that I've marked out on the chart. I mean, hopefully they're pretty obvious, and that's obviously horrific. These are just two points of different time frames where, for me, it's kind of like a macro pivot. So it's kind of just like bullish above here, bearish below there. So if we get something like this, a very nice short opportunity. If we get something like this, and consolidation, very nice long opportunity. And I'm quite happy to buy spot ETH. I'm quite happy to take directional trades on it because of everything that's going on with it, right? But I'm equally not wedded to a bias, and I'm not just thinking, oh, merge narrative, wonderful. And one thing that I suppose actually probably tilts me to a little bit more of a short bias is that from a spaghetti perspective, although it's slightly being disproved right as we speak, that before we had very consistent rotations, and we had consistent rotations into ETC, into ENS, into OP, into LDO, and the last couple of rotations, now this one is being an exception because of course I'm streaming and I'm talking about it, they've been a bit weaker. And Theta was one that jumped on my radar earlier, which was very odd because I rarely see Theta show any form of strength. Let's have a peep. And for me, as that narrative quote unquote dies, you know, the rotations in these alts are going to get weaker. But we are literally seeing right now kind of the reverse, right? So it's nice. It's nice to know that perhaps that thought process of, you know, getting long Ethereum, getting long ETH merge narrative stuff still, you know, might actually be the play still. So, because all I've been trading and scalping, or mostly anyway, has been like ETC, OP, etc., over the past while, I suppose. Not 125x, you rookie? Yeah, I know. It's pretty piss poor, isn't it? Want to join your Discord? What's in there? What, the secret one? The secret Discord where we pump Atom with all the Chinese? Or are you talking about the Paragon group? Because there's a link here somewhere. I would advise you just click that, watch the video, and have a little look. Yeah, there's hopefully a video that explains it. So yeah, hopefully that kind of explains my thought process on ETH. And for me, yeah, I'm not really too excited about trading this, and I'm not going to position majorly until we do something around these levels. Now, for me, I'll probably be here, to be honest, to watch it all. And as Jim said on his on the stream he came on whenever it was 2 weeks ago, he'll probably, live watch the alerts go off. So I will probably be live watching my alerts go off if I set some. So yeah, I will literally just be looking for tags of these, basically. And that might not happen. But I can't be asked to trade this range. There's just no point for me. Is there an easy AK-free way to look at open interest long-short ratio? There is. But I don't look at it. It's going to short any merge pump. Pray for us both. Yeah, and I think that's the other side of it, right? Is that you've got a very strong news catalyst, right? So whether it goes well, whether it goes badly, if you're positioned long and it goes terribly for whatever reason, I know they've done a million tests, etc. Do you want to be directionally exposed to a potential risk? Yeah, Levitas is the one I was thinking of. And for me, the answer is no. I don't need to be in it. I just don't. There are plenty of other opportunities. But yeah, I mean, with the group, we spend most of our time in there, and some of the time, like today, has been me moaning about lack of volatility, and going through different thought processes and producing, or at least starting to produce, some educational content around how I scalp alts and how I play low time frame rotations. And yeah, we are both me and Magus are very active in there, and we've both got very different trading styles, very different. And that is never to say that one is right or wrong, but yeah, it's certainly interesting to watch, I guess, two people with very different styles occasionally come to the same conclusion and go, these are the trades we're taking, or to come to completely opposite conclusions and saying, I'm longing this and I'm shorting this. Both, rational thought out plans, clear invalidation, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, different answers. And that's the one thing I love about trading. I bang on about it probably every time I stream, is that, it's an art form in a sense, that it's unique to the individual, right? And whatever makes sense to you might not make sense to someone else. And whatever you've backtested, whatever you've traded with, and whatever system you've used, if it works for you, great. So yeah, I'm kind of done talking BTC and ETH. I'm looking at some shorts. Let's start talking shorts. Now, I don't particularly use meme trend lines, but they are relatively helpful for confluence. I'm going to just ignore pretty much any form of momentum oscillators at this point, because we've basically got fuck all momentum, right? But the theory is, if I'm looking to short some altcoins, what do I want to short? Now, for me, it's rare that I'm going to short all the good performers. The only time I short strong performers is typically if they do something like that, and you've got a very nice clear invalidation. I'll just short the shit out of that. And this is typically 30-minute up to 4-hour time frame, right? So you could argue that up here is the start of that, but for me, that kind of invalidation for some sort of swing short at what is quite a tricky level is just not something I want to look for. What I would rather look for on LDO is actually, how do I, are we going to come back? Are we going to start seeing relative strength come back to LDO? Should I be playing rotations in it? What does that look like? I mean, from a low time frame perspective, it's not too unclean, but we are certainly not seeing violent moves. Like that's as exciting as it gets. If there was an ignition like that, I keep saying the word ignition, but hopefully you understand what I mean, which is just an initiation of move out of a range. It might be a little bit more exciting, but it's just on my list to potentially long. And this is what I mean, is that there's a lot of stuff that's in relatively interesting places, but something needs to happen for me to take a position rather than just speculatively gamble. From an RSI perspective, we're sort of hovering around that 50, which is what you would expect from a consolidation. If you... God, what is wrong with Boomer Charlies today? If you start trying to trade on extreme divs, on RSI, etc., in these conditions, you'll probably just get absolutely destroyed because there are no signals. So that's kind of my thoughts around LDO, which I sort of inadvertently skipped to from KNC. But yeah, breakdown of this, I would probably just short with an invalidation above here. Alice is a similar picture. Now, I've seen quite a few views on Alice, so I'll talk about it from my perspective. I'm going to say something that's quite controversial, that I think the Metaverse play is over. I think it's done. I think there will be a couple of good ones that come out, and I think there will be some genuine, WoW level games where there are a lot of people like borderline addicted to it, like myself, that enjoy playing it, that really build in the community and do all this kind of wonderful stuff. I don't think many of them are going to be crypto games or crypto related. I would love it if they were, but yeah, that's just kind of my view. I think we've had that hugely speculative run on Metaverse Ponzi's, and I'm more than happy to be wrong on that. Again, I will trade charts, but from a narrative perspective, I won't be investing huge parts of my portfolio at when I think the next bull run is going to start to Metaverse plays. And if I do, it'll just be a couple of select coins. So I would just be looking for some form of push-up, div, breakdown. That's it. Matic, again, Matic for me has been one of those ones where I think I get a chart of this from one of my favourite traders, Mr. Exo himself, probably every other week of him nailing some form of short move. And it's before the move, obviously. And yeah, it's kind of similar to LDO, but I think this is much, much better from an RR perspective because it doesn't have as much relative strength, and it hasn't had as much relative strength. Matic is sat in the basket of the middle, like now. It's nothing exceptional. So, again, give me some form of reason to short this, and I will. TRB was in the shortlist. Now, I'm not shorting this here, but I suppose the meme that we went through with Jim on the last stream was where was it? We literally said Jim's buying it, so it's going to cap it, and that was his entry. And I know that he shorted it, so he shorted something like this, I think. So he must have done a nice return on that, especially if he held it down to these lows. But yeah, that was quite funny from last stream. Certainly made me smile. Because I always try and convince him to play altcoins. I'm like, why are you sat there waiting? Like, you wait all day for, some aggro idiot on Bybit to just long the top, and then you take your short. Why aren't you just combining that with altcoins and or B, just trading altcoins themselves so that you've actually got something to do, because sitting there waiting and watching for 6 hours can be quite depressing. I mean, we're all kind of doing that now, right? But yeah, the meme's always that when he buys an alt, that's the top of it. But he has actually made lots of very, very good returns on alts, but obviously at the start of the cycle, many moons ago. You'd share some thoughts on CHZ? Yeah. Can I share my thoughts on ADA? I mean, if you've noticed, ADA is one of my favourite coins. It even has its own section. It has its own section. Garbage going to zero. It's probably not what you were hoping I'd say. I actually think ADA, of all the alts, so when you flick through, I've done this on a couple of streams before, when you essentially load up a 4-hour chart, literally tab through all, like a load of alts, which is what I did before the stream. Not every alt looks like this, right? You could argue that this is a typical sort of breakout, move up, maybe a retest, although from a market structure perspective, you'd probably want it to just round off here and start moving and filling in this inefficiency. So it's not actually fucking terrible, depressingly. And if it did push up and did some form of divergence up here and failed to clear these highs, would make a nice short, even if it's just down to here. But I can't really justify getting long here, and I never really want to get long ADA anyway, because Charles would kill me. I'll jump on serious in a minute. Metaverse with in-game NFTs is a thing that would work. You really need to think the biggest companies in the world aren't going to be running the space. I mean, I think, yeah, cheers PDF Xenon. I'm not sure how I should pronounce that, but I've probably butchered it. Yeah, I mean, I think like there was just a wave, wasn't there, in crypto, right? And I mean, if we look at Alice, like my neighbor Alice, right? Sounds like a dodgy fucking blue film, doesn't it? Let's have a peep. 110 mil market cap, 208 mil fully diluted for a game that looks like utter fucking trash. Like, I don't know how many users it's got, but let's be honest, we went through a very speculative run with things like AXS, and I know that there were a load of farmers that kind of left whatever jobs they had, and they were farming axes, and they were breeding them, and they were doing this, and that was basically their job for a while because it paid. But ultimately, a lot of that is Ponzinomics of their own metaverse dynamics. Whereas, I'm yet to see a very, very good proposal from a commercially sound metaverse that isn't just a Ponzi with tokens and we'll just assume people keep buying and that all supply will be dumped, etc., and it will be absorbed by buyers who want to participate. We'll just have, price will either do this because everyone will want it versus everyone who's selling it. What was the I know what it was. So, like, this chart, that is fucking how I view basically 99% of metaverse projects. I don't think you can get a better visual representation. So delete the chart. Ponzi's not happy with it. Yeah, and I'm not like saying that this is going to be all metaverse coins. Obviously, I'm not saying that they're not doing a good job in terms of whatever products they're building. What I'm saying is, from a speculative investment perspective, it's probably not going to be the highest risk reward. It's just not. It's had its big run. You look at the privacy run of 2021, there kind of wasn't one, right? We had that in 2017-18. Yes, privacy started moving as a sector, but it wasn't super mega returns, right? So yeah, it's a bit different, I guess, if you're playing around with huge portfolios. But if you're playing around with a much smaller portfolio and you want the 10, 50, 100x's, etc., which, to be honest, doesn't matter how big your portfolio is, you always want that, right? I just don't think we're going to see those kind of asymmetric returns from metaverse projects anymore. But, like I say, happy to be proved wrong. All the games are shit. Yeah, I've yet to see one that apart from actually the other side one by Ape, that looks quite good. Yeah, NFT collectibles, I agree. I like the process of NFTs. I can see a lot of application. I've bought skins on CS:GO, for example, so that is an NFT, I guess. Yeah, skins is exactly. Again, JB, you've just taken the words out of my mouth, really. I've got a knife in CS:GO, that's worth, I don't know, a couple £100 or something. It's, is it? It's fucking pixels. I mean, it's all pixels, right? All of this is made up money, but yeah, I'll probably get off my metaverse rant. Yeah, they've got an ecosystem that's locked. They charge fees to interact with that system, so they are constantly recouping. Didn't the skin sell for 200k on CS:GO? Yeah, probably. So Dragon Lore for 1 million. I think the only downside to all of everything that's happened, and I've banged on about it in other streams, which is I feel like there's an abundance of not necessarily wealth, but misplaced money, in terms of people borrow to buy things that they really can't afford to own. And that's had impacts on things like CS:GO skins, NFTs, clearly the whole of crypto, general markets, and if we are entering a very bleak recessionary period, then people are going to be selling CS:GO skins to pay their fucking electric bills, right? I'm not gonna sit here and hungover macro LARP or anything like that, but financing their own Domino's orders, yeah, Jesus. Yeah, so I think a little bit of sad reality. I mean, this chart is fucking bleak, isn't it? I might just post it on Twitter. Right, what's the caption for this, boys and girls? How are we going to trigger the most people on Twitter with this chart? I need your help, stream. Come on. This is a two-way process. This is the future of finance. I just need a job. Big cup and handle pattern. Road to dreamland. Web3 chart, fuck. Philippines GDP, wow. I think I'd get banned for that. The destiny of all metaverse plays. Whoa, that trigger. That's Bitcoin in 6 months. Oh. Wow. I mean, I'm so tempted with big cup and handle pattern. That's... Peepog bog. Peepo bog. It's just all pixels. Accumulation range. POV you never took profits. Oh, that's gonna slay people. Oh, I think those are my favourite boys. Big Cup and Handle, and going without FTX. Wow. Time to buy. Pavu never took profits. I've got to tweet that. I'm sorry, that's so good. I'll do the same one later with large cup and handle pattern forming. Fucking hell. Right, let's get back to actual some serious shit. So, talked about KNC, talked about Alice, and basically called it a trash shitcoin. Talked about Matic, memed about TRB and how we went over it last stream. We've done LDO. Theta. So Theta was one that I was looking at from a relative strength perspective because it showed up on here earlier. Yeah, there it was. Which is, it's, oh no, that's one. Woo! Nailed it. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I'm literally just going absolutely insane. No, it did because I posted a chart in the group. Well, just cut myself there. But anyway, from a levels perspective, it's kind of similar. Like, I want to see some form of strength. I want to see it up here, or I want to see a move that says you should be shorting this, and that's kind of it. I've got more of a long bias though because Theta's actually a relatively decent project. Ooh, fundamental trade or. But actually, if it's showing on relative strength, that's usually a very good sign for a long bias. CHZ, did I go over CHZ? I don't think I did I? I mean, it looks. I'll show you CHZ and then I'll show you ETC. Like, it's the same idea basically. I'll put my squiggles. All this shit back on. But it's essentially the same idea. Of we will get a move out of this, and I'm looking for some form of strength. Or some form of relative strength, I should say. And ETC, we went over. But typically, CHZ has moved outside of the rotations in ETH mergy stuff. So if OP, LDO, etc. are all doing that, CHZ will probably do not much. Whereas if CHZ goes like that, then the other three will probably do not much. So from a rotation perspective, it could very well be next. And if I was to position long, and you put a gun to my head and said you've got to long something, I would probably long this here. And just have an invalidation down here somewhere. But equally, it might just fucking die off. I just tear off to nothing. But yeah, CHZ is probably my, having already missed that, CHZ will probably be my next go-to. This is the chart you deserve. Anyone who shared any of this crap on Twitter needs to be permabanned. Now, I completely disagree with you, because I think, like, what would the content be on Twitter? Right? What would it fucking be if you're not allowed to talk about your coins? Like, what? Like, I don't get it. People are like, oh man, you know, like, all this stuff with SatStart. Like, and I feel really sorry for him, because he got blamed for, like, Snowdog, and he got blamed for, like, Jewel and all this kind of stuff, but it's like, if he shills something at $1 and it goes to $20 and you don't take profit and it goes back down to 15 cents, like, I don't understand. Like, the RR to be, you know, on Twitter sharing views is just declining because you just get beat up for it. And if you talk about low caps, then people will be like, oh, you're shilling your bags. It's like, well, okay, do you not want me to talk about bags that I own? Do you want me just to talk about random shit? Like, I own it because I'm bullish on it. And I also think that the whole, like, people get it wrong. And people, you know, should be held accountable if you're saying this is the fucking bright future of finance, oh my god, it's going to million X, blah, blah, blah. Completely get that. That is, you know, that is playing on people's emotions, you know, the whole, I can't say his name because otherwise I'll get sued, but where the video of him sort of saying, you're an idiot, your parents don't love you because of this, you know, all you need to do is follow the green dots, right? You probably all know what I'm talking about. Like, that whole way of messaging, I think, is pretty bad. And that should be where, yeah, you've got to, you know, cut that shit down. Fill before she'll roll. I mean, yeah, always. Like, always. Who doesn't do that? But to share views and to share, like, why you're bullish on things, like, that is literally why people follow those people on Twitter. So, if they don't do that, well, what are you going to be following them for? Dunning-Kruger. No, I can assure you I didn't name any names. That could be any trader out there who streams to large audiences. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's all opinions. None of us are fucking forecasters, right? Like, I said it in the group, actually. I said, you could be the guy that followed me, whenever it was, saw my SHIB tweet and went, oh, do you know what, I'll put $200 in that. And then walked away with fucking 20 million, right? Or you can be the guy that saw my tweet, that said, I'm still bullish on Rune at $20. And you could have bought Rune at $20. And I'll show you how that one fucking panned out, shall I? Like, I'm quite happy to say that, you know, I've not timed everything perfectly. You know, bullish on Rune at $20. You know, basically Pico top. You know, I'm still bullish on it. Doesn't change a price prediction or anything like that, right? Like, yeah. So there are, of those two people who have followed my calls and done whatever and have said, right, I'm going to completely copy trade this. One of them is a multi-millionaire off fuck all, and one of them has watched their asset or their investment go, you know, 90% down. And I think that's the extreme of it all. That actually a lot of these people, over a long period of time, have made some good calls, have made some bad calls. I've made bad calls, well, I made plenty of them. I've made good calls, I've made plenty of them. Like, you know, trading isn't about winning every day, every time. And it's, yeah, it's very different. Very different. When they ask Z on their pony, isn't this just farming with extra steps, bruh? No way, man. Yeah, but like, we all marry certain biases, certain bags. We all have our views. We all have, yeah, probably bags that we're married to. You know, Rune is my bag that I've still got that I could have sold an awful lot at $20. Now, I did sell some around that level. I sold some basically all the way up. My original buys were around 30 cents or something, so, you know, I'm still technically multiples up, but, yeah. Yeah, I'm selling to willing participants at fair market prices. If you delete a tweet of a bad call, well, soon we're going to get an edit button, right? So we just edit it out. That's what happens, mate. So yeah, I feel like the stream's been okay, considering my condition, but I haven't actually got a long scenario for RSR, and we just moved Rune in there for the lols. So this is kind of my watch list. Hopefully you've got my thought processes down. You understand my positioning. I'm not particularly looking to be, you know, super active in terms of trading unless the volatility really does kick in. So has anyone got any questions or anything like that? Did you miss the BTC chart, Black Tide? Yes, you did, my friend. TLDR, I'm short from here, somewhere. I might just delete all this because good lord is crap. I'm short from up here, hedge down here. I'm looking for this to get along, but I've got no real bias that will happen. If we jump down here and basically sweep this area, then, and we don't have any form of strength, I'll be just letting my long go essentially and letting it fall. But I've got no strong directional bias. If we move up to mid-range, then I will just close out probably both positions and just take the W and move on. And then look for plays at here or here. Right, simple. Unless we get some sort of nice low time frame divs, which with no volatility, you're not going to get, to be blunt. Those wanting to get the fuck out of financial markets or improve, still shilling too much when it's parabolic is cringe to me. It is cringe. It is cringe. But I think, you know, when Bitcoin broke out of like 11k way back when, you know, if you were or 12k, all right, if you were super bullish here, everyone was like, oh, fucking come on, man, like chill out a little bit. But the reality is that, you know, you were right. And I'm trying to think of the, you know, sort of psychological reasons that people naturally want to be bullish. People are taught that you buy things and price goes up and you make money. You buy assets, they appreciate, you make money. They're not really taught about the value of, you know, you want to accumulate, you want to own properties, you want to own this, you want to own that. And in no scenario, like if you own properties, is prices going down good for you? Unless you want to accumulate, obviously. So if you own properties, I guess my point is that, yeah, general human psychology is number go down bad, number go up good. Thoughts on a short squeeze? Shh. Oh, that's a lot. I'll just undo all of this. I don't know. Short squeeze. Thoughts on prop firm? I mean, I didn't really read it all. And I wish her good luck, just out of politeness. And I may have been, as you can probably tell, slightly inebriated last night. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not how I would do it, in terms of the charging a fee bit. But equally, like, one of the reasons that so both Magus and I ran public discords for a while, and the reason that, or one of the reasons, obviously, apart from just liking money, that, you know, we put a gate of $1 fee in front of our educational group, is that you do get a lot of, how do I put it, crap, I guess. And you get people in there that just, you know, basically want you to wipe their ass for them. And I'm not saying that it's the same comparison, but equally, if you've got 10,000 applications, like, how do you you know, vet them? But yeah, I'm not sure I would charge a fee personally. I'd probably just recoup it off the good traders that you actually recruit. Yeah, I do realise that I've not covered any trad stuff today, and part of the reason of that is I don't want to, and part of the reason for that is you can go watch Trader XO's stream this evening, and his will be much more informed from a macro perspective than mine. Thoughts on Stargate short squeeze? Oh, I'm not looking at it, mate. Sorry. Yeah, I mean, if you want to play a short squeeze, by all means. What project coins am I a long-term bullish on or covered on in any older streams? I mean, I think one thing that really helped me in 2018, I was talking about this the other day. I can't even remember where I was talking about it. Might have been on the last stream, but after I basically fucked my portfolio from, you know, my 2017-18 all-time highs, I did cash a fair bit out, so it wasn't too bad. But, you know, I must have watched it go, my remaining crypto go down like 80% or something. One of the things that I did maybe halfway through 2018 was I just took it all out, every single bit of it, and just reset. And just basically reset my bias. And that was when I started taking things really seriously. You know, I wrote a huge review about Tomo for myself, not for anyone else. Like, I didn't publish it, I didn't give it to anyone. Well, I did give it to a couple of friends actually, but it wasn't for any major purpose other than let's start taking this a bit seriously. Let's start understanding the value proposition of these projects, trying to see what solutions they're solving, who's behind them, what the tokenomics are, blah, 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 and actually building up investment cases like properly. And what I'm probably going to do is the same for when I feel like investing for the next cycle, because I do think there will be another cycle. And from a beta perspective, there was a really good video that I might share with Magus's permission that talks about when you have corrections, like, that's horrible, isn't it? When you have corrections, why is it doing that? Ugh, what have I done now? When you have corrections, like all the high beta stuff just dies, right? So you get your 90% drawdown. But then when the markets... Am I actually shaking? Is that my hand? Fucking hell, boys. I might have just diagnosed myself with arthritis or something. Come on, yeah, that's better. There you go. So high beta assets, i.e. crypto. What the fuck? Jesus. You know, are going to bounce hard, whereas, you know, medium or very low are not really going to do much in terms of cycles. And I do believe that we will have another cycle, just purely out of people's greed. I don't think it'll be anytime soon, but yeah. So I don't really want to share any projects because my view will probably change a bit. There are projects that I'm bullish on, sort of for the short term, for the medium term, and for the longer term, and they'll be different in terms of price. They'll be different in terms of fundamentals, yada yada yada. But for example, I recently bought, or not recently, probably about 4 or 5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, whenever I bought my new PC, you know, I bought a fairly hefty sized bag of something I've been shilling on Twitter, and that's gone. That's it. I'm just gonna leave it there. Like, it's fine. I don't need that money. I will leave it, and if it goes down, not a problem. If it ranges, not a problem. If it goes up, not a problem. I've got levels where I'm going to take profit. Yeah, that was a long rant. Do you suggest players with small bags have a habit of cashing out some? I think anyone should be cashing out some. Like, genuinely. I mean, it depends on your personal circumstances as well, right? Like, if you are here for the 1000x and you've got $10 that you're happy to invest, lose, and do whatever, and $10 is not a big amount of money to you, then do what the fuck you want, go YOLO. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you run it up to $1,000, maybe cash out $100. If $100 isn't a lot to you because you're earning $1,000 a day, you know, just keep rolling it. It's all about your personal circumstances, and no one can tell you what's right for you apart from you. But you do have to, you have to live with the consequences of your actions. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, influencers and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, I ran up 3k to 30k, then nuked it down to 1.5k on a mid-sized short. Yeah, I mean, I can tell you a wonderful play that I fucked up, or 2 plays I fucked up on the same coin, to be honest with you. I think it was here, maybe. I basically longed into this up here. Must have been. Oh fuck it, principles the same. Doesn't matter where it was specifically, but it was literally the top. I longed into here because I was scaling into a short, and I took the reduce only off, and for some reason I had like leverage on 10x or something, and I literally top longed like with size up here, and in the next like 2 seconds it just went fdoom. I was like, oh shit. Like, and it was that classic like execution error. So yeah, I mean it happens. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, so missize short, that was a very missized long. And I literally just wanted to close my short position, and then ended up fucking long in it. But I had quite a bit of stuff going on at that point in time, so yeah, forgive yourself. And then I spent the next couple of weeks in this period here before the merge, before the land mint, just longing it every day and recovering basically all of it. But it was fucking painful. So yeah, just review it. Like, I used to review it every single week. I got a spreadsheet. Oh yes, I'm a boomer, with all my allocations, everything. And just, am I happy having, $50 in this? Am I happy having $10 in that? Right? Another cycle purely out of market pity. Yeah. Scaling out of projects, I mean, it depends. So personally, I've had like, my approach last time round was, let's say I bought an ape and I would love like a buy in here. I will just have predefined levels. If there's historic levels to play off, so maybe there you think, okay, well that might be a good area to take my first little batch out. Always at 5x, not that this went 5x, but always at 5x I take my initial out. Always. The reason for that is just then it's a free rolling bag, and if you've put a substantial sum of money in it, for me as a former accountant, it takes a lot of the stress and the pain away. That, okay, whilst it might be a big amount of money that's sat in a coin, mentally, well, it's almost free money, and you can set levels where you are uncomfortable. So let's say you put, I don't know, $20,000 into something, it goes up 5x, you're now sat on $100,000, you take your initial 20k out, or maybe 25k, and just treat yourself and say, okay, I've made a bit of a dub there. Now, how are you going to manage that position? Are you going to let it die down? Are you hedging it? What are you doing? Because it does become, trading, not investing, if you're going to start doing that. Now, I got very lucky, obviously, with the last bull run and the fact that everything was so risk on. But yeah, some of my targets were, in hindsight, very wild. My final cash out for Rune was around the $100 mark, for example. So whilst I had cash outs at, say, $3, at, say, 6, at 10, at 20, at like 80 and 100, like, it never got anywhere near 100. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Research tips. I've got a whole like FA guide that I've written in the group. Just roll the dice. Yeah, there is that. Like, you can either be very left IQ or very right IQ, and you can either just, this is how I explained it to my friend, right? Like, if you think about it on an IQ scale, right? Most of the people here and here will make it out of like one high conviction play. Dogecoin go bear. This is the next, XYZ of finance. I'm putting all my money in YFI at $100 because this is the future of DeFi, right? And most people sit in this IQ bracket, and I probably sit somewhere here, slightly above average, but not much. If I do toot my own horn a little bit. But for me, I I find a lot greater comfort in knowing that, for example, the team is fully doxed, they have good delivery background, the proposition that they are putting forward makes sense, the tokenomics aren't completely fucked, they have a clue, their white paper isn't just incomprehensible complex bullshit for no reason that cannot get across a simple business plan. And yeah, like litmus test. Do you feel comfortable? Because you are giving them your money, kind of, right? And you are investing in this. So I don't know. And that's the difference for me between investing and just trading. Like, I can look at a chart on any project. I go, one, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to trade this? Is it interesting? Are there some areas where I could look to long, look to short? You know, am I just going to start drawing diagonal meme lines? Okay, well, I'll long it here. If it breaks that, that's it. Whatever. Like, obviously I'm not trading like that, but you get my point, right? And I think appreciating and understanding those differences between investing and trading is huge. And I think you need to do whatever makes you comfortable from an investing perspective. But I do agree with the sentiment of you can probably just chuck money at any old shit in a full bull run and make money. But, like, I think having your finger on the pulse in terms of narratives that are in play, ultimately, because if you can rotate, right, if you can catch the DeFi run, the metaverse run, the whatever run, and you've got 10k goes to 100k, 100k goes to a million goes to 5 million, right, because you're probably going to take less and less risk. If you can time it like that, and you can have exposure into these at the right times, why wouldn't you? And if you can get blue chip ones, you know, like the AXS or SAND of the metaverse run, why wouldn't you want to do that research and get those instead of the ones that did like a 5x, you know, a measly 5x? So that's why. And also, it's something to do in times like these. Like, you know, I'm quite happy when people shield me on projects and they go, oh, check this out. And like 9 times out of 10, I've seen it before. Like, I've 100% seen it before. And if I haven't seen it before, then usually I will do a bit of a deep dive. Crypto isn't an investment, it's a Ponzi. Narratives have nothing to do with fundamentals. Yeah. Yes, but I kind of get what you're saying. And the fact that, yeah, it is just, you know, what's the fucking narrative behind SHIB? Don't believe crypto, it's just a scam to make money until proven otherwise. Yeah. It's got a cynical view. But, I mean, the more time goes on, the more I'm a little bit, like, facetious about it as well, in terms of, you know, this was meant to be an inflation hedge. Great fucking job. This was meant to be decentralized and blah, blah, blah. Great fucking job. Like, this was meant to do, you know, unbank the banked and, offer banking services to the unbanked and all that kind of stuff. And really, you know, we're going through decentralized exchanges, even some of the, what am I saying? We go through centralized exchanges, and even some of the decentralized exchanges are like, you know, banning Tether addresses from participating because somebody tornado cashed, you know, 0.1 ETH to all their addresses and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's kind of not delivering, and it's tied to traditional. So, you know, it should move to its own rhythm and market cycle beat, but it doesn't. So yeah, a lot of disappointment, I guess. Luna was the king of DeFi. Yeah, I do kind of get you. I mean, I am of the same ilk. I don't think that the story is over yet, but you know, that's my personal view. I think we will. I mean, let's say all the macro doomsayers are right, and we get like a couple of years of recession, and everything goes to shit, and you know, it's a real tough time. You know, like Bitcoin's just going to die, and then it's just going to go down to something, you know, ridiculous. And when people start getting a bit more risk on again, because it will happen at some point, these are market cycles after all, you know, it will be phenomenal. Yeah, yes, 99% joke companies, exactly. exactly. And you're now competing with desks and VC firms who have hired analysts full time. That you've got to outpace them, and then you've got to hope that the deals that they've secured stuff on in terms of seed fundraising. Sorry, I think I might drop off in 4 minutes. Aren't at outlandish valuations. Yeah, most of these projects don't need a token. Most of them don't. So yes, boys, girls, ladies, gents, he, she's, theys, whatever, maybe in the chat. Apologies to anyone I've not listed. You've got 4 minutes. Anything you want me to go over? If not, I will bid you adieu. And I'm going to have a few guests over the next few weeks. 4 minutes to go through all the pronouns you missed. Yeah. Am I invested in metals? I do have a little bit, but it's not really worth talking about. XMR, interesting chart. If this isn't interesting, if I'm not falling off my chair, I'm going to be really disappointed. It's quite strong, actually. That's money launder. Let's go. Not financial advice. Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Again, you'd probably just be playing some form of literal level flip, hoping for some consolidation to potentially long. But, yeah, quite strong, comparatively. DXY opinions? I mean, my opinions on DXY are like, they're probably about as valid as, me judging some form of fashion contest. I think go to XO's stream later today and ask him. Like, dollar strength, bad for risk on assets. Dollar is strong, no denying it. I meme parabola curves all the time. Meme parabola. And the reason parabolas are memes is because you can literally stretch it to fit basically fucking anything. But it's ridiculous. It's the classic trade that I think most people never wanted or never planned to take. But as someone who's got a lot of crypto in USD, it's been a happy trade against my great British Queen's Pound. Euro opinions. I actually tweeted the Euro chart this morning, and I mean, I think Brexiteers are probably in full force. I don't really do Forex, to be honest, mate. What did Euro USD? Yeah, I mean, just what do you want me to say about it? Is that the bottom? Fuck knows. Yeah, I don't really trade Forex, mate, so... Deviation, maybe? Yeah, I'm just guessing at this point, aren't I? Yeah. Repump. Anyone seeing giant dildo on ETC? Is it going again, is it? Ugh, fuck's sake. There's the volatility, boys and girls, and he's and she's and theys and all of that. Wonderful. See you in the ticks. Yeah, well, I think that's it. Thank you very much, everybody, for turning out. If you are not following, hit follow and you'll hear the wonderful voice of Michael Saylor saying there is no second best. You are not going mad. Trust me. yeah, and check out Delta Exchange via the link below. Thanks to them for sponsoring the stream, and I will finish here, go and try and sober up a little bit, and upload this to the wonderful world of YouTube. That was the bottom. G to the G. We'll sound out with the theme tune, obviously. It is the only way to go. Until next time.
He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.